So this is where I store my wood in the off season. Just bought this rack off of Amazon, made by Triton. So these are mostly 2x10s. I have cut at different lengths. So we're just going to take them off the rack and move them to the backyard. So this is what we were able to get done in about a few hours. A lot more than I was expecting, which is good. So you can see the string line here. This is what I use to square up the rink. So I measure corner to corner. It doesn't have to be perfect. Usually if I'm within 3 to 5 inches or so, that's good enough. And then what I do is, in this corner here, I'll put a stake, another one here. These ones don't support the boards, they're just for lining up. Oh, this one seems to have broken, but anyways, we line up the best we can, but again, it doesn't have to be perfect. You can see some of the boards aren't even perfect, like this one here. It's probably in its 3rd year, so it's been pretty warped. So there was a couple small changes I added in this playset this year, so I had to account for that. So I took off the slide. I think eventually what I'll do is maybe put a hinge here, so I don't have to remove and replace them every year. I can just flip them up, maybe tie them off, something like that. And then when I built this, I had to account for the stakes going in here and this other piece of wood here. So I had a rough idea where the rink would go when I was making the tree for it. So it turned out pretty good. It's about the same spot where I was last year, so that's where I decided to put this this one piece of wood here, the most outside piece of the treehouse. And the reason I did that is because you might not be able to see it, but it slopes up pretty dramatically here, probably about a foot if I had to guess, maybe a bit more. And this is my highest point, one of my highest points I should say. The other change I was making was I was trying to make this 34 feet by 34 feet. Last year I had just over 30. So I pushed this up right against the fence, Might have been able to go a little bit closer, but I needed some room to hammer in the stakes. On this side, I went right up against these steps, so I got some extra space there. I was going to put this up right against the shed, this side of the rink. That would have given me another 1.5 feet, 2 feet maybe. But then I would have had to cut this door and alter that and then change the location of this. So when I decided to put the tree fort up, I went against that. So this is kind of where it has to be, and it allows me to get in and out of the shed each year. So the only thing left to do is I will put these 2x6s, I got 3 of them here, in this corner here. This is my lowest point, so I'll put probably a 2x6 and maybe a 2x4 there, and then 2 2x6s. And I've also got some sandbags that I'm going to try and fill this corner so we don't have to use as much water, and hopefully it'll help it freeze a bit quicker. And then I've got a couple of 2x10 pieces, one here, another one over here, so I just have to fill in these gaps. So this gap here, so I'll do that and finish off the boards, and I have to finish staking. So right now, so I have a 2x10x10, those are my biggest pieces. I usually use 3 stakes, so when I built the rink we were just kind of doing a rough build, so we only use 2 stakes. But what I'll do for these larger boards, the 2x10s, I'll add at least 1, maybe 2 stakes depending on where it is. I know this is my lowest point, so I typically will have more bracing along here, and I haven't decided, but I might along this edge here brace it up against the fence instead of using stakes, but we'll see. I haven't quite decided yet.